Well, I just finished reading Barchester Towers. I'll tell you what, it was really good. Let me tell you the story in this thing. Barchester Towers is the sequel to The Warden. Now, you recall in The Warden that Septimus Harding was forced to resign from his post as being in charge of this thing called Hiram's Hospital. And what happens here in Barchester Towers, the story picks up right after that. Turns out Septimus Harding's best friend, the bishop, dies. And they name a new bishop, a guy named Prouty. Now, he's really involved with politics somehow or other. I don't know quite how it works in the Church of England, but he's more interested in politics than in running his diocese. So it turns out that there are two people who are actually fighting for control of this diocese. One is his wife, Mrs. Prouty, and the other is his chaplain, a guy named Obadiah Slope. Now, there are two questions that go to get resolved in the plot of this thing. The first one is, who is going to marry Eleanor Bold? Now, Eleanor Bold is a widow. She's the daughter of Septimus Harding, and it turns out she's rich. The other question is, who's actually going to take over as warden of Hiram's Hospital? That's what the whole story is. It's about romance in a kind of a way, and it's also about ecclesiastical politics. There were three things that struck me about how Anthony Trollope wrote this story. Let me tell you what they are. The first thing is that Anthony Trollope frequently breaks away from giving you a straight narrative, and he breaks in to kind of speak to you in his own voice. And as a matter of fact, when he does this, he gives away plot points. For example, he tells you fairly early on that neither of the two main suitors for Eleanor Bold, Obadiah Slope and this other guy, that neither of the two main suitors for Eleanor Bold is going to get her. In fact, it's going to be somebody else. He's not concerned that you be in suspense about how the thing is going to come out. He wants you really to pay attention to how he does it. Second thing, he introduces a wide range of characters into this story, and he paints detailed individual pictures of each one of them, and each one is completely different from all the rest. He gives you their foibles, their good points, their bad points, their habits. It's just remarkable. I can't get over the kind of imagination this guy had, or the way he was able to observe human nature and identify all these different types of human beings. Now, the third thing is, because this is a romance, you necessarily, in the first half of the 19th century, you're necessarily going to compare him and his treatment of the romantic part of this story with Jane Austen. And I got to say, there's a big difference between the two of them. Jane Austen lives in a world that's absolutely black and white. She doesn't mince words with any of her characters, no matter who they are. You're either good or you're bad, and she paints them all exactly that way. Now, Anthony Trollope, on the other hand, lives in a world of grays. Even the bad guy in this story, this Obadiah Slope, he credits him with some good motivations. There are some good aspects of his personality. And in fact, for all of his characters, he paints the good and the bad, and it's a kind of a generous view of humanity, human beings. Really interesting, very well done, and it absolutely leapt right out at me. So the bottom line for me on this book is really pretty good. And, I think I'm done with ecclesiastical politics in the 19th century. I think the next Anthony Trollope book I'm going to pick up is going to be one where he gets into politics, 19th century politics. And I know he's got those books. I don't know the titles, but I'm sure I'll find out, and I'll read them. I really enjoy Anthony Trollope. I think you might too. See you next week.